What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Redefine Our Prime. My name's Chris.
I'm Ron.
And today we're going to do a Brightburn spoiler-free review. So if you haven't seen it yet, no worries. We're just going to kind of talk about things you've already seen in the trailer, our general thoughts, and just overall give it a rating at the end.
Okay. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. You want me to start out?
Go for it.
All right. Superman is my favorite superhero of all time. Everyone always used to say, oh, he's boring, he's too powerful, he needs vulnerabilities, but see, he is vulnerable, just in different ways. His relationship with people, his control over, what he can do. And I always went back to how interesting it is that he had good parents, because if he didn't have good parents and he was a bad kid, that could end up a whole lot different. And I always thought that was interesting about his character. I always thought that Martha and Jonathan Kent were just awesome characters because they had this being that could do just about anything. I mean, imagine him throwing a temper tantrum. Like, what do you do? And they were such good parents that he grew up into like the greatest hero of all time.
Yep.
So I got really excited when you showed me the trailer to this movie. I thought it was a very interesting concept. How did you feel going in?
I loved it. I was very, very excited as well jumping into this movie. This is Ron's Superman shirt. I'm more of a Batman fan myself, but still, I remember when I saw this trailer, I was like, oh man, this is such a cool concept, such a cool idea, right? Like an Elseworld story where, I mean, now this isn't affiliated with DC at all, so they don't mention Superman, they don't mention anything else. Like, this is kind of its own standalone thing, but I really hope that after we see more things like this, right? So this movie, I think, hits on a lot of awesome pieces of just a movie genre. Like, it's got horror in there for people that like want to go see a horror movie. It's got Superman pieces in there for people that like superhero movies. So that it can hit a lot of like a wide audience that are just interested in going to see the movie. My concern is, and we briefly said this before we started the video, was we went and saw it last night, which was technically opening night, and we were one of like 8 people in the theater.
I said to Chris, I was like, is this opening night? Are we a week late? And I think you said, I don't think it is. Maybe we are a week late. So then he looks at his phone or whatever, and he's like, oh no, this is opening night. Yeah. And there was probably, maybe 8 to 16 people in there, and not, I said that it'll probably become more of a cult classic, gain a following, kind of like Austin Powers did when Austin Powers came out to video and DVD and whatnot. So I'm hoping it deserves a following, it deserves some popularity, because it was, it was a little better than I expected. It really was. Yeah. I was hoping that it was going to be good. Of course, there were problems, for me anyway. I think there were 3 problems that I had with it. Not so much, though, the story, just things that I probably would have done differently. But once again, that's not really a problem because it's my opinion. Just problems with me. I had problems with me. Not in
being a Superman super fan.
Yeah. Well, one of them is an actual problem that I'll get to in the spoiler video. But the other problems is just like what if I would have wrote the movie, I would have done it differently. But you know what?
Yep.
They still had an interesting idea.
Yep.
I thought it was going to go one way, and then what I thought the concept wasn't exactly what I thought it was, but it was still really good.
So this movie basically just follows Brandon Breyer, who instead of Clark Kent is just he's not a good kid, not a good seed. Now there's different things that happen that cause him to really become the evil character.
That's where I was mistaken. I thought it was going to be something else. And
right.
We'll talk about it in the spoiler video, but yeah.
But again, it just kind of goes through his path. It's not. I think the movie takes place over like a week, maybe. It doesn't. They don't really show progression of time, but it definitely wasn't a long period where the film's supposed to take place. It's like you kind of see a little bit in the trailer where he finds out he has these powers. Right? They show him in the trailer put his hand through the lawnmower, right? So now he's like, oh my god, I can do that. What else can I do? And he starts kind of learning his powers, which happens pretty quick.
Then he starts getting told what to do. And then it gets interesting.
So imagine being like a 12-year-old kid who finds out that I can do and get whatever I want.
And you're getting bullied.
Right? Yeah, and they show
You're
that in the
getting
trailer
bullied.
too. They show that in the trailer too. That one scene where he gets knocked down, and the teacher tells the girl to pick him up, and she calls him a name, and then goes to do it. So you hear him crack his hand. Yeah, it's just it's great.
Yeah,
I really,
really
really
good film.
highly recommend everyone go and see this movie. You can go sober, you can go drunk, you can just go with friends, family, whatever. If you want to see just a generally good time at the movies, it's short,
Yes,
hour and a half.
it's not that long. It's entertaining the whole way. The acting's good for the most part. There's a couple parts with the acting where I'm like, I probably could have said that better. But you know what? It wasn't a high budget movie.
Yeah.
This movie could have just been a film festival independent movie if you really think about it. You
Right.
know. But the fact that it made it to theaters, I really hope that it gains some traction because it definitely deserves to be on people's radar.
Yeah. So yeah, go check it out, guys.
Check it out.
Definitely, you have Chris and Ron's stamp of approval.
Yeah, and
Go watch
trust me, I'm
Brightburn.
the biggest Superman critic there is, and I say check it out. It's definitely worth it. And we're going to talk about the problems with it in the spoiler review. We're going to talk about the great stuff in the spoiler review, you know, the okay stuff. We're going to talk about everything in the spoiler review. So go see it and then, you know, see our opinions later, agree to disagree or agree or disagree, whatever.
Yep. So if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.